We're following breaking news this afternoon about a major data breach at LifeLabs. The company is Canada's largest provider of diagnostic laboratory services. Privacy commissioners in Ontario and British Columbia say they're investigating the cyber attack. Megan Batchelor joins us with more on this. How many people could be affected, Megan?
Well, Rashmi, we're hearing that up to 15 million Canadians could be affected by this data breach, and this is sensitive information that was taken from the computers of LifeLab. And like you said, LifeLab is this service that provides diagnostic laboratory tests. It operates in a number of places in the country, but right now this breach is focusing on patients in Ontario and BC. And the timeline here is back in November. On November 1st, LifeLab first flagged that it may have been victim to a cyber attack on their computer systems in those two provinces, and shortly thereafter they confirmed this. There was a cyber attack. The hackers had taken some data from those computer systems and demanded a ransom. LifeLabs says that it did pay these attackers a portion of money with some help from outside cybersecurity consultants that helped them with those negotiations. So here's a look at the information that was taken from those computer systems in Ontario and BC. So LifeLabs says that names, addresses, and emails were taken, account logins and passwords, as well as health card numbers, as well as lab tests themselves. And we know that all sorts of lab testing and diagnostic testing happens at LifeLabs. And so LifeLabs has issued a statement following this investigation going public. They say that they are sorry. They say our cybersecurity firms have advised that the risk to our customers in connection with the cyber attack is low, and that they have not seen any public disclosure of customer data as part of their investigations. So LifeLabs also saying that around 85,000 lab tests, and those customers who got lab tests prior to 2016 in Ontario are a part of this 15 million group of Canadians affected. Health card information was also from 2016 or earlier, and those affected customers will be getting in touch. LifeLabs will be getting in touch with them, and this is also now the center of a joint investigation from the Information and Privacy Commissioners in both BC and Ontario. Rashmi.
Right, what are those privacy commissioners saying about all of this?
So they did go public and say that this investigation is underway, and that each respective province will be looking into the impact here. So here's a statement from the Privacy Commissioner in BC. Let's start with that. They say, "I am deeply concerned about this matter. The breach of sensitive personal health information can be devastating to those who are affected. Our independent offices are committed to thoroughly investigating this breach. We will publicly report our findings and recommendations once our work is complete." And here's a statement from the Ontario Privacy Commissioner. He says, "Cyber attacks are a growing criminal phenomena, and perpetrators are becoming increasingly sophisticated. Public institutions and healthcare organizations are ultimately responsible for ensuring that any personal information in their custody and control is secure and protected at all times." In this press release, also, they mentioned that they are going to be in touch with the privacy commissioners in other jurisdictions in Canada. LifeLabs does say that there could be customers affected in other parts of the country, so this could become wider as we learn more information about just the scope of all of this information that was taken. And finally, LifeLabs is saying that any customers that are concerned about their information, the company is now going to be offering a year of protection that includes dark web monitoring and identity theft insurance. And so any customers looking to take that on are encouraged to get in contact with LifeLabs themselves. Rashmi.
Thanks, Megan.
You're welcome.
For more on this, we want to bring in Paige Backman of the law firm Aird & Burles. She's the co-chair of its Global Privacy and Data Security Group. Paige is also the director of Knowledge Flow Cyber Safety Foundation. So 15 million customers. What do you make of this data breach? How concerning is this?
It's a significant data breach. You've got 15 million people affected, and the information that has been accessed is the type of information that could be used both from a identity theft perspective, but also a concerning perspective if you're looking at the release of medical lab results.
Yeah,
so people's reactions are going to be concerned. They're going to be concerned.
Yeah, it's not just your name and date of birth or even your credit card number. This is your personal health information.
Yes.
What could someone do with that information?
Well, so and that goes to the criminal mind. Having health information would extort a larger ransomware, which is probably what they were after with this. They can use it to extort information or actions from other people whose information they get, but criminals tend to be inherently lazy, so my guess is, and we don't know, but my guess is the intent was to hit a medical lab to extort more money from the company itself. I'd be more worried practically by the accessing of the name, the passwords, login, home address, date of birth. That is a very easy pick for cyber criminals to steal someone's identity.
Okay, so if I'm one of the 15 million people concerned, what can I do?
First of all, make sure your banks know that you were one of those that were impacted. Make sure you notify the credit reporting agencies. Make sure that you're checking with your banks generally online, if you online bank, to make sure there's no activity. Be careful of any emails or communications you're getting that you're not expecting or seem a little odd to you. Be prepared to pick up the phone and just confirm with someone that they did in fact send you that email. In terms of the lab results, I understand that LifeLabs has said that they've retrieved all the information that was stolen. I'd like to understand how that worked practically, if the criminals actually did get copies of it rather than simply encrypt it. The fact that they retrieved information or retrieved the information back doesn't give me a ton of comfort. But again, criminals tend to be a little bit lazy, so I'm not sure what they're going to do with the health information. But I would also take advantage of the offer from LifeLabs for the 1-year identity theft and fraud surveillance. And then you may want to get one for a second year. After about 2 years, criminals tend not to use some of that information.
Is that as far as a company can go when it comes to accountability? Are we just going to get used to data breaches when everything goes digital?
You know, it's a great question. So there's always trade-offs. We're in a digital world. We love the accessibility that comes with it, the response times that we come with access digitally, but it does mean that they're going to be vulnerable from external third parties. So are we going to have to get used to it? Data breaches are a daily affair. So yes, but that doesn't mean we have to rest on this. We need to be proactive. We need to be concerned when this happens to make sure your information is as protected as possible. The good thing, if there's a good thing from this, is that the larger players in this area, being your banks, your credit organizations, they're very familiar with this. They're not always the most helpful, but they are aware and they can help you through this and deal with any identity theft issues from the financial side of things.
But it's hard to avoid it from happening, isn't it?
Completely, yes. Yes, you've got an entire industry, and ransomware, which appears to be what's at stake here, is a business model of criminals. It's extremely easy for them. They can do it remotely. It takes very little capital investment, and they can get hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, per incident. This is a high-profile incident. My guess is that the ransomware paid is going to be pretty significant. The good news on this is that it only works if the ransomware parties, the criminal element, actually do what they say they do, or people will refuse to pay going forward. So there's some practical comfort that people can get from this. But the reality is you never know what they're going to do with it. They can say that they've given it back. They can say that there's no longer malware in your system and it won't happen again, but there's no 100% certainty around this.
Okay, but we'll end on that good news page. Thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for joining us on this.
Thank you very much for having me.